Hello, welcome to East Asia Monitor. I am Daniel Rowe, who is making this the 9 report. Today and in the next session, I will provide a special edition in the title of Looking into North Korea. This 9 report is produced on the 9th, 19th, and 29th of every month. That's why it is called the 9 report. I am Daniel Rowe. I'm Korean. I'm a political economist with a focus on Japan. I was trained in the U.S. Grad schools and had worked in Japan and other countries. And now I'm back in my hometown, Seoul, and making these YouTube shows. And your subscription will be very much appreciated. Today, on this particular special session, we'll talk about the economic and social conditions of North Korea, witnesses of 6,351 North Korean defectors. Well, this is a direct translation of the special publication offered by the Korean Ministry of Unification in this month, in February. And that report runs 282 pages, a very long report. And today, in the next session, I will summarize key points that are relevant to the specialists and the managers who are interested in Korean Peninsula matters. Well, the first question raised in the report was the Kim family leadership. Should the Kim family leadership continue? And the answers are like this. From the people who are in North Korea before 2000, they said yes. 57% of people said yes, affirmative. And at that time, the negative answer was only 23. But now, the people who know the situation of North Korea for the period of 2016-20, that is actually, late period, positive was 29%, but 55% said no to the question, the above question. And also the report actually classify the responses into 3 geographical areas. One is borderline area and rural area, entire rural area, and then Pyongyang. As you know, Pyongyang is not only a capital city, but actually really center of almost everything of North Korea. Very large in terms of the magnitude and actually the political atmosphere, the influence, etc. And people from a borderline area, which is actually the areas just below the borderline with China, positive, a negative answer was 50-45, same as for rural people. But Pyongyang people, in a sense, Pyongyang citizens are, in a sense, privileged segment of population compared to other areas. But surprisingly, 56% said no to that question of the continuity of the Kim family leadership. Now, in terms of generation of 20s, 30s, and 40s and over, young people, particularly the people of 20s, 55% said no, and 30s, 38. But 40s, actually, 47% said yes, and 46 said no. That is, they are, relatively affirmative toward this question. I think the reason is they are really the key. They are the backbone of current North Korean management and bureaucracy. So their negative answer could be lower than other generations. Now, people over 50s, senior people, actually, said yes, 48%, in a sense, I think it doesn't mean that they really, respect the Kim family leadership, but they have been in many government and administrative jobs in their career, so they have in a sense, inertial mind that the Kim family should continue, but still, 35% of them said no to the Kim family leadership continuity. Now, Kim Jong-un's, is his power succession justified? Is he now a really strong and justified leader? Overall, yes, positive answer is below 30%. Regardless of time period, regardless of areas, even generations. And no, I have runs from 33 to 54%. So negative answer is, stronger than positive answer in general. Particularly the people who lived in North Korea in the year 2020 and around that year said 56% of them said no to power succession. And surprisingly, people living in Pyongyang, 55% said no. Because this is counter, intuitive, because people living in Pyongyang, most of them work for the government and all other public organizations, and they said no, 44% to this power succession. And on the other hand, the people over 50 who had been, who are currently in the North Korean power positions and government, only 44 said no to the succession. And what about Kim Jong-un himself? How do you perceive Kim Jong-un as a leader? Is he a valid leader? Overall, the yes positive answer runs from 14 to 23. Particularly, in compared to year 2000, pre-2000, the late period of 2020, only 14.5% of people said positively, and that number is low among the people of 30s and 40s who are supposed to be a part of North Korean government leadership and all other social running institutions. They have a low, actually less positive than other age groups, and their negative view is strong, higher, 57 from the 30s and 57.4 from 40s. So overall, in this period of 2016-20, the people in North Korea, 60% of them felt negative towards Kim Jong-un as a national leader. Now, Kim Jong-un government regime strikes out a catchphrase 강성대국, which is strong and rich, powerful, economically powerful country, as a really national catchphrase. Now, has it been realized? The yes is only tens and teens percent. In a year 2016 to 20, only 10% said yes, and people from Pyongyang has the highest response is only 15%. On the other hand, no, the way out of the realizations, pre-2000 period, 56% no, and 2020, 59%. Particularly in the rural area, 3/4 of people in the rural area said no to that catchphrase, because in economics, and particularly in the rural areas compared to Pyongyang. Well, border area here means the areas just below China. So that is, by the river, and many people living in the borderline actually are prepared to cross the river and go to China. And now in terms of age group, people over 50s, senior people or even retired people, 66% of them said that catchphrase is invalid. It's not realized. Now, has North Korean economy improved since Kim Jong-un took power? On the third line, most of, about 40 to 60% of people said, half of them said no. Particularly in the people, Koreans living in that area in 2016 to 20 said 60% of them said no. They were really disappointed. Maybe that's why they escaped from North Korea. And in Pyongyang, even Pyongyang, we have this, understanding that the Pyongyang people are most privileged. Just ordinary people even can't live in Pyongyang area. So one way or another, people in Pyongyang are related to the North Korean power and leadership. But even 56% of them said no to the economic performance of Kim Jong-un. And the age group, runs is around 50%, 49, 52, 52%. So overall, the economic situation hasn't improved since Kim Jong-un took power, is the general trend in answer. Now, North Korea is a very strong country. It's a country where judiciary, including police, secret police, intelligence organization have a very strong presence and power in the society. Do they act lawfully? Ordinary people in North Korea cannot answer this question, but the respondents are all people who escaped from North Korea. So now they recall their life in North Korea and answer to this question. People who knew the pre-2000 area said 47% said yes lawfully, but 20 years later, only 19% of people said lawfully. Its actions are lawful. And overall, yes, stays around 30% in the border area, rural, and Pyongyang. In Pyongyang, only 26. People in Pyongyang are supposed to be part of the regime, but in their mind, only 26% of them say yes, that the judiciary acts are lawful. And in terms of generation, they center around 30%. Now, no, 66% from the people who are in Pyongyang around 2020, and even 60% from Pyongyang citizens, former citizens. And young generation has a higher figure of 59.7 compared to other generation. Here, the 44.9 and 53% from 30s and 40s make us think that they are actually part of current governing regime. So many of them should be employees. Were employees of government, so they could be less anti-government, less critical of this Pyongyang regime's judiciary actions. Is the law enforced in a fair ways? Very similar question from the previous one. In the year around before 2000, 43% said yes. But 20 years later, it became less than half, only 17.7, very low. In terms of age-wise, living in residence or age-wise, roughly 35% say yes. But no is very high among the population who were in North Korea in the year 2016 to 20. Almost 70% of said no. It's not really fair. And border area 50, rural area 48, Pyongyang 57. This is quite remarkable, again, that most of the people living in Pyongyang are one way or another part of the Pyongyang regime, and 57% said no to the question, is the law enforced lawfully, fairly? No. And younger people are more negative compared to other generations with 53.5%. Now, in a similar vein, we all have this image that bribery is very rampant in North Korea. So is bribery a necessary express fee? Is a kind of question that Koreans use, that two things are done quickly. You need bribery in North Korea. Is the dialogue here. 60, yes, is almost 60 to 7%, 3/4 even. That means it is almost necessary. The bribery is necessary to have things done in the government offices, in rural offices, and anywhere, in any dealing, any transactions. Pre-2000 year, still 67%, and then slightly improved in the eyes of people who are living in North Korea in 2020. But rural people are more critical because, the quality of policing, quality of administration are poorer in rural areas. So you need more actually chances where you provide bribery to have things done. And also, older people said 76. That means in their lifetime, in their career, they have gone through many experiences where the bribery was necessary to have things get done. Now, no is around the 10s and 20s, running from 9% to 16%. That means 80% of North Koreans think that bribery is necessary to get things done in North Korea. So, have you ever offered a bribe? That is those, a question to the 6,000 people. Yes, from the people who are in Pyongyang pre-2000 period, and 54 yes from the people who are in Pyongyang lately, 2016 to 20. And particularly, again, Pyongyang people had more opportunities where they offered bribe, because there are more things get done in Pyongyang. High-income people, in terms of income, high, middle, low-income groups, high-income groups had more businesses, so they had more opportunities, more chances, more occasions where they offered a bribery. And people with a business experience, 54% said they, offered a bribery, but only 27 people with no experience. Farmers, all those people are actually slightly, distant from this practice. And no, experience of offering bribery is only, 60, 50, 70%. That means, roughly speaking, 60% of North Korean people had no occasion of offering bribery, but remaining roughly 40%, 30 to 50% of people had that experience. Now, North Korean leadership asks each citizen to take a country matter more important than personal matter. But in a counterwise, is personal matter more important than country business, party business, or sacrifice for the party? So now these people are in the situation where they have to provide a candid answer. Yes, from the people of 2000 area, but from the people who lived in Pyongyang, North Korea in 2020 said yes, 53. So that means North Koreans are becoming more individualistic, from over a long-term view. In terms of area, Pyongyang rural people are more think that personal matter is more important than the government party business, because they have more business, they have more chances to expand their personal interest. And people of 50s, I think this is slightly in different context. I think that they now, in recollection, they think that personal matter is more important than a party or country business. And no, personal matter is not more important than. That answer is only 1/4 in general of the North Korean population. Now this is a comparison between personal matter with their workplace. Personal matter more important than work. In the people who are in North Korea in 2020, around 2020, says 58%. That is, again, this conforms to the statement we just made that North Korean people are becoming more individualistic and less sensitive to party or government business. And rural area is more conspicuous because they subject to less severe policing. Okay, there are more room for negotiation with the local police and etc. And people of 60 think that 6% of them say that personal matter is more important than workplace. Okay, now North Korea is a socialist country, even communist country. That means private ownership is not permitted. So living in the country where all those resources are distributed fairly, there should be no gap between the rich and the poor, but that is not the reality. In reality, is almost opposite. Now, is there a gap between the rich and the poor? More than 90% of people said yes. 91.4 in pre-2000 years, and 87.9, 89.4, 91. Now it's 93.1% of the North Korean people who are in that area said yes. And on the other hand, negativism runs from 3 to 5, 2 to 5%. That is none. That is gap between rich and poor is clear and distinct in North Korea, even though it is a socialist country. Now, if you compare political power and monetary power, which is better, which is more powerful, is political, because this is not a capitalistic society. This is a totalitarian socialist state where political power is more direct and more effective than monetary power. Yes, from the people who are in Pyongyang, North Korea in 2000 year, and now late 2020, people said roughly 60% of them agree. So overall, rural area 70% of people of the 50s are 70%. So except for young people of the 20s who said only 49% said yes, other people absolutely think that political power is better than money in the socialist, totalitarian society. Now, North Korean government declared and executes planned economy, national planned economy, 5-year plan, 3-year plan, all kinds of plans. Is it good? Is it a good thing? Positive answer runs around late 20% or 30%. But people who were in Pyongyang 20 years ago said 45%, but who were in North Korea lately said only 22.6%. People in rural area has a slightly more positive thinking than Pyongyang area because they are less exposed to market economy, and also people of 50s who are accustomed to or familiar with the planned economy actually said yes to this. 36% of them said yes. But on the other hand, people who are in Pyongyang, North Korea, in the 2020 period said 50% of them no, it's not a good thing, and all those people in regardless of their residence areas or age, more than 40% say it's not a really good thing. So, North Korean people are critical of national planned economy, which is the backbone of North Korean economy. Now, then, where have you worked? Where do you work? In the period prior to 2000, 44% of people worked in the public organizations, all kinds of public, or government or public offices and workplaces. That percent goes down from 33 to 28, 27, now 20.3.6 in the latest period. That means public economy is becoming smaller. On the other hand, on the third line, private economy is increasing from 17.8 to 24, 28, 31, now 37. So, in North Korea today, even though it is planned economy, more people work in the private area than in public area today. So in between, we have a public plus a private kind of economy, such as store in the airport. There is both public and private incentives, and no activity. That means it doesn't mean that they are not entirely unemployed, but the area, the workplace they are engaged in is not really legal, in a sense, formal. Like taxi driver with no license, people who smuggle things from China, and all kinds of underground economy do not report here. So they say it's no activity. So now, among the approved activity type, what are they? So public store actually appeared in the around year 2000. From then on, it increased from 8% now to 15%. The private store, private shops, small shops, from 20% now decreasing, to 5.9% now, slightly coming back. So it is a 13%. The marketplace, 장마당, the Korean word has been, in a sense, buzzword for North Korean researchers, lately too, in the recent years. Marketplace means really marketplace, the segment of a land where people have all kinds of stores and have transactions, but they are not public. All those shoppers, storekeepers do not report to a tax office and pay tax. This is underground economy, most of them, where police and all kinds of security personnel can exercise their influence and actually collect money in informal ways. Now, the 장마당 marketplace accounts for 20% of the approved activity in North Korea, and wholesale around 6 to 7%, and others are all unofficial job where they do not report, and government has no record of, can't trace the actually transaction of money and goods in these others. So underground economy is 33%. But it is approved, meaning somehow they do the transactions, but they are not really, reported to government control office, like in advanced capitalist society. Now, what kind of a currency is used in the marketplace? I was really amazed with these figures. Now, North Korean money accounts for only 60% of market transactions, and remaining basically Chinese renminbi, and 2% is US dollar. That's the country as a whole, but in border area, with the Chinese, China, there is 39. So the more actual renminbi is being used there. But what is striking is in a rural area, North Korean money is only 78%, and Chinese renminbi and US dollar is 5.1%. So, really, contrary to the image where, the US is a really, primary enemy of North Korea, imperialist, and US dollars are used in North Korea. 5% of the transaction is being done with the US dollars in North Korean rural areas. In Pyongyang, 30.2.7. So North Korean money is only 55, Chinese renminbi 7, and 32.7% is dollars. That means North Korean leaders living in Pyongyang enjoy using dollars than more, compared to Chinese renminbi or renminbi. So it's second largest currency being used in Pyongyang area. But I think this is really remarkable and has really many implications of how the country North Korea is being run. And foreign currency reserve, individual currency, it's household. If you look at pre-2000 period, North Korean currency was 27%, and at the time no cash reserve. So basically, people who has money had reserved in with North Korean currency. But North Korean currency's share changes to 33%, 35%, then 20% in 2011, and now lately only 11%. On the other hand, foreign currency grew from 3% to 41%. We just said, dollar, right? So renminbi and dollar, basically. And no cash reserve is, now decreasing, but 20 years ago, people did not actually reserve cash, And, okay. And so, market settlement, really, if you buy, a bag in market, 장마당, what kind of money do you use to pay? US dollars from 1.4% in 2001 to 5-year era, 20 years later, 15 years later, it's 9%. The renminbi is now the dominant currency. 62% in 2011 to 15, then 16 to 20 latest period, 7-8% in renminbi. So Chinese money are being used in North Korea, where North Korean currencies only now account for 13% of market transactions, which used to be 76 20 years ago. Okay, well, this is it for today. I just try to give you macroeconomic pictures of North Korea, but in the next session, we will talk about more microeconomic topics. If you have any topic that you want me to explain or analyze, please let me know at the following email address, and I'll do my best to give the answer. Thank you very much.